Hello, this is Neil from iPaintGirls.com, where you can find more free tutorials. Anyway, so someone asked that I draw someone seated and leaning forward, so I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick. First thing I'm going to do here is establish the plane of the seat, where the person will be sitting. And I know that, the chair might be something like so. You can just kind of, sketch in roughly the shape of the chair. Say these front legs would kind of come down like so. They might be a little bit longer. I'm not really worried about it right now. Then you'd have some armrest over here and here. I'm going to have them leaning more to the left side of the chair than the right. And I can already tell that I want to make this whiter, so like that. Anyway, you just need something rough. You don't need anything particular for the chair right now. Right, so then what you want to do is you want to establish like the height of the character and everything. So I might just zoom out a bit here. Draw a circle for the head. And we're going to do the stick figure, of course. But I'm going to draw the ribcage type stick figure. And I'm going to draw it's going to be kind of coming behind him. Keep in mind the rib cage is going to be foreshortened and the hip area will be foreshortened as well. And I'm probably going to make him a little bit bigger than this. What I should probably do is draw him on a separate layer than the chair. But oh well. Now I need to draw the hip area because I know you have the spine and everything. You have the hip area somewhere in here. And that's really all I need for the hip area. So to get the overall height of the character, remember you draw like a line down to the crotch, and then you duplicate that line, and it's that's the halfway point. So it's about the same length. And so you want to imagine that same length will be it's gonna be taking up the legs, but it's gonna be about half and half, right? So I need this length right here, approximately 2 head lengths or so, 2.5 head lengths, whatever it is, to make up his legs that we're gonna see. So anyway, I'm gonna draw the circles to where the knees will be, one here and probably one about here. And that length is going to come down like so and like so to the ankles. And then you can just draw lines for the feet. And then his shoulders are going to be kind of, because he's leaning forward, his shoulders are going to be kind of high near his jawline or whatever. Draw the little lines there. I'm going to have one line here and then this line. Actually, since he's leaning forward more, see, this shoulder will probably be down. The shoulders should probably be a little bit lower, the dot lines at least. And you'll see his legs are going to be coming up. When I imagine like the thickness of his legs, I want to get all this right. So, and then hand somewhere in here. And this one will be coming more straight down from our view, and then coming across and hand like so. So there's the skeletal structure. And the skeletal structure is important because if you can't get the skeleton to look like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, it's going to be difficult to move on from there. I'm going to use a different color, like red or something, in order to start establishing the form of the character. At this stage here then, it's about just trying to get some of the figure's shape down and everything. You could go straight into the primitive circles and all that if you want, and that's good to establish three-dimensional form. But I'm also going to add just a little bit of anatomy into it as I'm doing that as well. And the chest, let me see actually, because he's leaning way forward. Yeah, I'm thinking all of this needs to be a little bit lower because he is leaning forward a lot. So let's bring all this down more, bring his neck in to here more, his chest down then. And then we're just going to see a little bit of, the stomach area here. A little bit of that. And then that's all going to be covered as it's coming down here. We're not really going to be able to see any of his crotch. We'll see a lot of his thighs though. And remember the thighs, because we're looking, the horizon line is somewhere down here. Keep in mind that the thighs will be very foreshortened because we're not looking directly at them, but we're looking pretty close to directly at them, so the thighs are very foreshortened. And foreshortening is something that, I don't think it's too hard to learn, but it's really hard to master and get down, if that makes sense. Like it's pretty easy to learn the principles, but it's hard to really put them into practice from your mind. Keep in mind this bone here comes down to the inside ankle, so I'm just kind of loosely drawing that in there. Let's see, we'll have his foot somewhere around here. That line right there is really good to establish for feet, in my opinion. I think it just makes drawing the foot that much easier. Then I'm going to have the ankle or the heel come back over here. And just kind of loosely draw the foot in like that. The other leg. Keep in mind also the legs being smashed against the chair, so it's pushing up against the muscle tissue and the fat tissue if there is any. I'm going to kind of just have a little bit of that muscle hanging over the chair there. And let's see. Same thing we did with that leg. And I'm loosely sketching too because I'm keeping, room. I'm saving room for other stuff like his arms that might be overlapping his legs a bit. Bring that piece of skin that, because we're kind of viewing it from the inside angle, you're really going to see a lot of this muscle, this meaty skin that's on this side of the knee. And the knees are going to be kind of on the outside, so keep that in mind because you're viewing each leg from here, and so you're kind of viewing the inside of the leg, so the knees would be kind of going on the outside. Basic anatomy, just remember you have the big calf muscle on this side, on the inside of the leg. And this shape like that. Come down to this inner ankle, which is where that line connects to, and then we'd be seeing a lot of this inside of the foot here. Just gonna kind of draw foot like so. Make sure to draw through your character. A lot of this is all being smashed and it's all in shadow because he's leaning forward and he's coming along. Alright, so then I'm going to start I'll put some cylinders in first to make sure it all looks right. Sometimes it's good to do that just to make sure your skeletal structure was right on. You could add the cylinders in, and that'll kind of help you make sure that it's all working properly. And it looks like it's working. Let's see, this hand will be kind of like this. Cool. So as you can see, we're already starting to get this, image of a dude sitting in a chair. It's starting to look right. And then finally, let's go ahead and get rid of that. I won't get rid of it, I'll just turn it off. Turn this layer down a bit, make a new layer, and now I'm going to go in with more detail using a black. I'll use a size 5 rather than 3. Now it's just about adding in more anatomy and whatnot, getting some more details in, changing some stuff that we like and don't like. probably not going to have time to, get into any facial stuff, so I'm not going to bother with it. A lot of the eyes would be in shadow though, and then nose and all that. Anyway, like I said, I probably don't have time to really go into all that, so I'm not going to. I'm going to give them kind of big muscles back here. And remember that you're going to, as the neck comes down, you'll have this little bit of shadow in here. And put the shadow into there. Let's see how I want the shoulder to be kind of big. But it's being stretched kind of down, so I want to show that as well. All this right here will be kind of in shadow. And I'll have his bicep come off here, the pecs. Now this is going to be overlapping, so this part of the forearm overlaps that, and some of the tricep should be visible there. And then that other muscle that comes after the tricep, I like to draw a little bit of this muscle here. And then you have this muscle is all being contorted as it comes around. One of the harder muscles to kind of dedicate to memory, because it's kind of weird and almost not intuitive the way it works, at least not for my mind. Then it kind of pushes that muscle out as well. A little wrist bone on the outside. Keep in mind the wrist bone is inside the arm when you viewed from this angle, so then that pinky would come off like that. Oh man, I'm already running out of time. Okay, so like so. You'd be able to see a little bit of the shoulder here where it connects. Let's see here. Really leaning forward, and then the muscle, the shoulder would kind of come. Might be a wrinkle in the skin right there. I really want to show this because really kind of viewing it from, you kind of draw the, this arm is really being twisted around where we can see it almost from a side view, so not going to be able to see much of the bicep, but more of the tricep and this muscle here. And again, you have it, that same muscles comes around and contorts here. And then you have the elbow muscle, and then that little muscle like that. Let's see here, kind of just draw it like this. Again, you have this little bone right here for the wrist, and I'm going to have the hand come down here. You're not going to be able to see any on this side over here. All this, you might be able to see just a little bit of where that kind of comes in like that. Might be a little bit of light hitting over there, but all this is pretty much going to be in shadow. And you might be able to see a little bit of the muscle definition in there. A lot of his chest will be in shadow as well, and so forth. Anyway, yep. And I'm not going to have enough time to go through the rest of this, but you get the idea. You're going to have his knuckles here, and then you can draw some of his fingers. Have that pinky coming down. You won't be able to see the thumb, it's behind him over there. You might be able to see a little bit of it, but we're viewing it more for up view, so you won't be able to see the thumb. Now it's just a matter of drawing some of these muscles in, and the knee and everything. So I'll probably just do one leg, because the other leg is pretty much the same, so you will see a little bit of that skin over there, because some of it's, out of view, we won't be able to see it. This overlapping line right here is important to establish because it's overlapping the leg back here. Again, all that's going to be in shadow. All the chair would probably be in shadow. Probably be able to see some of his shadow of his hand down here, his thighs, and so forth. But all of the lower part of the thighs and stuff will be in shadow. could add just a little bit of muscle there. Add that line. Coming down to the foot here. I'm just about out of time. Sorry, folks. I'm going to have to cut this short. It looks like I'm really cutting it short now and just about out of time. And shadow would be just loosely on this side. You'll be able to see a lot of the leg because of how the lighting is. Right. Anyway, so you get the idea. And I could take it forward more, but I don't think there's any point to make a part 2. This pretty much establishes the way you go about drawing a person, and like you could really in any pose, but the same way I showed in poses, you start with a stick figure, and then you build up from there. If the stick figure doesn't look right, then nothing else is going to look right. So make sure you master the stick figures. All right, thank you for watching. That's how to draw a man seated down and leaning forward in the chair. If you enjoyed this, please check out my other free tutorials at my website. The website is in the description.